I like Elizabeth's question, PayPal versus Square.
Both.
I own Square and I sold
Yes.
off PayPal, but maybe that was my mistake.
I own Square. I do not own PayPal anymore. Like I said, I got some shares in the eBay spinoff a while ago, and eventually ended up selling those off. I don't really remember. I think it was to pay for my wedding, but there was a reason I sold them. But I still have Square. There's room for both to grow. They both operate in pretty different areas. There's obviously some overlap between the business, like Venmo and Cash App are rivals in a lot of ways. But PayPal is generally like the online payment processor. That's their bread and butter. That's where they make most of their money, not Venmo. Although Venmo's kind of the growth engine with a lot of future potential. Whereas Square is more of an omni-channel. They're really a brick and mortar retailer payment processor, but they're trying to build out their omni-channel capabilities. But most Square merchants have a physical presence, which is not necessarily the case for PayPal. So they're not necessarily direct competitors, but they do compete in a lot of ways. I think there's room for both of them to grow. I mentioned that PayPal's payment volume has just reached a little over $1 trillion annually. The global payments market's $185 trillion in size. So we don't think of it as an either or necessarily. It's both of them have considerable room to grow.
Well, and certainly there's still a ton of the world that uses cash.
Yeah, that's true. The majority of transactions around the world are in cash. And a lot of places outside of the US, we think of credit cards as being universally accepted. That's not the case everywhere. A lot of key markets, a lot of Asia, a lot of Latin America are where credit cards are not universally accepted, or card payments, or cashless payments, or mobile payments, or any of those. A lot of places you still have to pay with cash. So fintech in general is still in the early stages of disruption.
How's this for a stat? Square is officially bigger than Goldman Sachs.
I believe it.
Yeah.
Did you know that
Charles Schwab and American Express,
1/4 of US Bitcoin volume is now attributed to the Cash App?
Really?
1/4. And that's a small part of Square's business. So when you say it's bigger than Goldman Sachs and they account for 1/4 of Bitcoin volume, I believe it.
Yeah. Just shows you how big, they're $100 billion company. That is huge. And they're still growing.
It's one of I think it's my third or fourth biggest position. And I am not selling at all. That's a long-term hold for me.
I told Brian a while ago that Withers that I bought Square before it was fashionable. I got in just after the IPO. My cost basis is $11.02 per share. And back then they were like the little Square card reader that you saw in people's iPhones at a craft market. And
this is a super example of a company that you never could have seen. People ask us what's the next 10 bagger? What's the next 100 bagger? You never would have predicted that Square gone from a little thing that you plug into your phone to this Cash App to selling, their Cash App. I think next quarter is going to surpass their small business stuff, which was what they were founded on. So they've not only created a new business model, but that business segment that they have, it's growing faster, it's more lucrative, and it's got a bigger addressable market. So who to thunk it? You just don't know.